So, Oklahoma, not ranked. Welcome to 2020. What is going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I make college football videos every single day. So if you don't like this video, maybe you'll like one of my other videos. It has been a crazy 2020 college football season so far, and we're just getting started. This is a lot crazier than what I was expecting. I was expecting some mistakes and some, takes a while to get traction and all that stuff, but man, it's just been a nut show. For the first time in 6 years, Oklahoma is not ranked in the AP Top 25. The last time they weren't ranked was in 2014. And for the first time in 15 years, they're not ranked in the AP Top 25 this early in the season. The last time they were not ranked this early in the season was 2005. That's 15 years ago. Wow, this is a weird one, guys. So the Big 12 is, number one, it is still wide open, and number two, the standings are crazy. Okay, so we have Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and Kansas all tied for first place. They're all three 2-0 in Big 12 play. Of course, Iowa State has the out-of-conference loss to Louisiana, and Kansas State has an out-of-conference loss to Arkansas State. But all three of those teams are tied for first place. And then we have West Virginia, TCU, Texas, and Baylor tied for fourth place. Because even though those top three are tied for first, you still got to count each one as a spot. So 4 teams tied for fourth place. They're all 1-1. Texas is 2-1. And then tied for 8th place, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Kansas. Oklahoma is tied with Texas Tech and Kansas for the bottom of the Big 12. They're all three 0-2 in Big 12 play. Oklahoma overall is 1-2, Texas Tech 1-2, and Kansas 0-3 because they got smacked around by Coastal Carolina. So will Oklahoma be fighting for their lives to not be the bottom of the barrel? I don't think they're that bad, but then again, I never thought I'd see them tied for the bottom. The Big 12 is looking a bit crazy right now. All right, so let's switch over to the ACC. The ACC is a bit more decided. You can tell who's in the upper echelon, kind of the middle, and then kind of the bottom. So, of course, we have the playoff contenders. Clemson, they're always the cream of the crop, and they're looking great so far. Then there's Miami. Miami is looking really good. So that game at Clemson is going to be a big one. If Miami can pull the upset, they will be catapulted into playoff conversations across the nation. But don't forget about North Carolina. And I know they were a 2-point conversion away from going to overtime to Boston College. But Boston College is a good team as well. So that was a good win for North Carolina. And then Notre Dame. If Notre Dame, can play another game. They've been having some issues with positive tests, not being able to play. So if they can actually get back to playing, they're considered a contender in the ACC. And then we have the next category. These are what I consider the potential spoilers. In other words, they're trying to knock those top 4 out of the playoffs, and they're going to get bowl bids. And that's Virginia Tech. They're undefeated so far. They just haven't looked great. NC State, they just upset Pitt, so they've already done it. They could do it to somebody else. Then Pitt, I think they're pretty good. Their offense is a little anemic right now. If they could get the offense going, I think Pitt could actually be very dangerous and scare some people. And then Boston College, who already scared North Carolina last night. Like I said, they were a 2-point conversion away from tying and going to overtime, and North Carolina is one of those top teams. So I expect Boston College to try to spoil somebody's season and get to a bowl. Then the next batch, these are the fighters. These are the ones that are going to be fighting to get to a bowl. Virginia, which they didn't get totally destroyed by Clemson. Georgia Tech, I think they're better than I expected, but not in upper echelon. Syracuse and Louisville. So I think those four will be fighting to get to a bowl. And then the bottom three, I don't think they have a chance. I think they're done. I think they're a terrible bunch of teams. Florida State, they were down 21-7 to Jacksonville State yesterday. They came back and won, but didn't look good doing it. Wake Forest and Duke. I thought Duke would be a bowl team this year. Well, so far they're 0-4, so yeah, I don't think they have a shot. Transitioning over to the SEC. The SEC is, once again, very, very interesting. This early in the season, we're always trying to figure out who's legit, who's not, who came in overrated, overranked, and all that stuff, and who's the surprises, if any. Well, the three teams that pop out in my head as far as overrated at the beginning of the season, one, A&M, said it from the beginning. Why they ranked them in the top 15 at the beginning of the season, have no idea. Proving me right. LSU, I just knew LSU lost too much to be any type of contender this year. Yes, they destroyed Vanderbilt, but last week they got beat by Mississippi State, who got beat by Arkansas. So, yeah. And then Auburn. I actually thought Auburn was going to be good. Turns out I was wrong as well. They got dismantled by Georgia. I had Auburn winning that game, but nope. Georgia looked really, really good. So that brings me to the next category for the SEC, the real deal, the teams that have looked really good so far. Alabama. They looked a tad shaky against Missouri, but then yesterday they just destroyed A&M. So, yep, Alabama is Alabama. Florida is looking really good, and I expected Florida to win the East. I still do, but now Georgia, which is the next team I'm talking about, they look pretty good as well. Maybe they've solved their quarterback issue, maybe not, I don't know. They have a great defense to back it up, so we'll see. Of course, those two teams will play each other for SEC East supremacy. I'm still sticking with Florida, but Georgia, you're making me nervous, especially after that performance against Auburn last night. And then the last one, Tennessee. So far, so good, but we're still wondering just how good Tennessee is. So they'll get tested even more as the season progresses. So we'll see. Then the next batch in the SEC, I think these are teams that will make bowl bids, but really not really going to challenge for the SEC in either division. Kentucky, I think Kentucky has played a tough schedule so far. I think they're a victim of, tough teams that they've played. I think they'll bounce back and they'll get to a bowl. Mississippi State, like I said last week, I thought that number 16 ranking beside their name was way too high. I didn't see them losing to Arkansas, but apparently if you play zone defense against Mississippi State, you have a chance. But I do think they are good enough offensively to get to a bowl. LSU, yes, they lost a lot, but they proved yesterday they still have some fight in them, and I think they will fight their way to a bowl. A&M, yes, I think they're overrated and they were overranked, but I think they're good enough to get to a bowl to beat the lower grade teams. And then, of course, Auburn. I think Auburn had a bad game last night, and not as good as I thought they were, but I do think they're good enough to get to a bowl. They just have to figure out how to be a good defense when it comes to passing and figuring out, that run game. They have to figure that out. And then the bottom of the barrel, the SEC, I don't think these teams will get to a bowl, but you never know. They will pull upsets and scare some people. Arkansas, the team that I have in this bunch, they already did it yesterday. They beat a Mississippi State team that I thought they had no business. I don't think Arkansas will get to a bowl, but I do think they will scare teams and they will upset teams. Proved it yesterday. Vanderbilt. Now, yesterday they got whooped by LSU, but that first game they scared Texas A&M. I do think Vanderbilt will be able to pull an upset. Probably one that we don't see coming. South Carolina, they came back and made it a competitive, well, sort of competitive ball game against Florida. They made Florida not cover the spread, which hurt me on my spread pick, so there you go. And then Missouri, they have some good offense. They just need to figure out what to do on defense and be more consistent on offense. The pieces are there. You just have to figure it out and be more consistent. So there you go. A crazy, crazy start to the 2020 season. And that's how it looks so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next video.